G'day guys, hope you're all well. Just thought I'd go through and I guess have a bit of a look at what's going on at the minute, what I'm looking at, and really focus more of my attention on Bitcoin right now. Because it is the man or the woman of the moment, usually is. And I mean, look, yesterday, got to be honest with you, I was sort of more looking at the bearish sentiment that was creeping in. Obviously, we had seen the selling coming in. And what was really, I guess, not of concern, but evident, I suppose, is that if you consider that throughout the week, we'd done very little indeed, spike down, spike up, not much happened, right? We stayed in that range, which is in that cradle zone area on the daily. Of course, what we did then see was when the selling did come in, it wasn't just a erratic spike. We saw it roll over. Now, what that actually showed to me was there's a lower high, lower high, lower high, then a lower low. All right, so we saw it roll over. We saw the market start to shift to the downside. And the thing was is that because it wasn't a spike and because it didn't immediately come back, keep in mind, this is a 4-hour chart. You can look at this and go, well, it did immediately come back. No, it stayed down there. It consolidated. And in my eyes, I thought maybe pull back into the cradle zone for the next leg down was something that I'd have to be considering. So I started considering it. I started becoming open to trading opportunities to the downside, looking for shorts to hedge the portfolio, that sort of thing. Then I went to bed and I woke up and checked it, and I'm like, wow, okay, that's fantastic. One of the things that I had said was that the only way that it would look a little bit more bullish is if, and I don't know if I said it on the podcast, if I said it in my members' videos, I can't remember exactly where I said it, but it was to be, the only way I was sort of going to maintain that we could still push on to a new higher high and therefore deliver on something that we haven't seen since 2017's bull market, i.e. a trend going into an uptrend and then continue on for another higher high. Realistically, it needed to erase the prior days selling off, and it did exactly that. Nearly a 4% day to the upside there on Bitcoin. So for me, I saw all that, and it's like, although it's messy through here, we're kind of back into here. Now, it doesn't mean it's not going to sell off, not at all. It just means that we seem to be settling in this very ugly and not so tight range here on the daily. So what am I waiting for? What am I hoping to see? Well, I'm waiting to see what the market does. I'm hoping to see that it pushes on. I'd love to see us get above 4,000, when I wake up in the morning. That would be just ideal. And then for the carry on to occur. Now, if it doesn't do that, as long as it stays somewhere in between here, because this is still a higher low in this uptrend. Here's a higher low, high. Here's a new higher low. It's not very pretty here, and it's certainly not something that I'm going to be looking to trade right now. But as long as we stay in here somewhere, it gives the bulls a chance to allow this continuation to come on. Now, we have seen the news, and what is said in the news, let me say this. When the market goes down, the news today was all negative. That was the last 24 hours of news. Then the market goes up. Have a look tomorrow morning. It'll be positive news at that point. So I don't pay too much attention to the news as far as an indicator of what the market will do. I do like to read what's going on and be up to date with things. But it's really important for me to see the high of this yesterday's candle break to the upside and get above 4,000. If we do see that, markets that I might look to consider trading, they're pretty tough at the moment. Like Ethereum, pretty ugly there. EOS had a cracking day, 16% day there. Big move back to the upside. I got stopped out of EOS Bitcoin recently. It would have hit 1-to-1 today. You can't win them all. No big deal. Just is what it is. So if these markets were to pull back overnight, let's say, create a higher low and then push to a new higher high, look, I'd be happy to go down into those mid-term timeframes and lower timeframes looking for opportunities to the upside. But it's still early days right now. Very consolidated on Stellar, very ugly on Ripple. Litecoin had a cracking day, up 15% as well. Nothing really there. Again, I needed to see a pullback. Maybe to $50 would be ideal, really. Bitcoin Cash still pretty ugly. Binance continues to be an absolute pillar. Again, yesterday's breakout or Bitcoin breakout trade here with a stop option there. Stops up there now. Really solid trade. I actually took the one personally from Binance against Bitcoin. Really solid move. That market's been doing an absolute wonder for the market. Tron looking ugly and Bitcoin SV also looking pretty ugly. So again, really just focusing on what Bitcoin does. I want to see it break above these levels, get above 4,000 and continue to see the upside momentum. Guys, have a fantastic day and I'll speak to you again soon. Cheers. Bye for now.